UK citizens will soon be forced to have digital IDs. Otherwise, they will not be able to work. They won't be able to fly. They won't be able to take trains. Pretty much, they won't be able to do anything without digital IDs.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes, looking upstream to tackle poverty.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Also, I would like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and 1/3 on the brother Barak. And I'm going to be doing this lesson on the UK digital ID. So, as you can see in the first clip, it's here, the digital ID, which the prophets and apostles and elders at GMS, Salakia, you got demons in the back. So, apostles and elders on down in GMS, we're talking about this, this digital ID, and that's kind of going to take place, digital ID, and then what is going to be used in conjunction with the RFID microchip technology. So, you're going to be able to scan it on your right hand. They already got forehead scanners. And what this devil does, being, starting off with Esau, Edom, the so-called, this, white man who's in power right now. He basically is, doing this thing with gradualism, man. They get you used to it, and he wants control, right? So that's important to know. First is going to start off with that digital ID, and then next thing you know, they got the RFID chip coming in and put it in people's hands. And then, one thing leads to another, right? As the brothers say, one thing leads to another. So you're going to have this, this other countries taking on this practice. This is their plan, right? They got everybody hooked on phones, right? They got everybody believing in that thing, that happened back a couple years ago, right? So, this man, he's basically, if he wants to do something, people are going to fall for it. And, you see some protests or whatever, but this is biblical prophecy, right? This man's world is coming to an end, right? This is the book of 2 Ezra 6 and 9, and it says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth," right? So, the so-called white man, most of the so-called white people, being the Edomites, right? This man's kingdom is coming to an end, and we've seen the signs, right? You've seen we're in the last days, right? Knowledge is increasing. People are getting dreams, right? People are getting dreams. You got how do I say? The RFID microchip Neuralink, right? So I'm going to repeat it again. It says 2 Ezra 6 and 9, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." So we're coming close to the end of the world. And the scriptures talk about it. I'm going to pull this out. It's the book of Matthew 24:38. And it says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, bearing and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And, that same spirit's going on, right? People are still trying to go out to, have a wedding, right? People still trying to, build up Esau's kingdom. It's basically like how you building your, you can say it's building your house on sand, but, it's even worse than that. You're going to build up in this man's kingdom when, we're trying to get the fuck out of here, right? And there's even like a saying that goes around, now the American dream is to leave America, right? So, it's not like it was, in the 1950s, the 1960s, when America was really peaking, when it was at its all-time high, right? Because, America just got, it's ran by the Edomites, You think it's a president just running that thing? You think it's just one guy? You think it's a parliament or whatever you call a Congress? There's people pulling the strings, right? And there's people behind those people pulling the strings. It's not just, there's many wicked rulers in high places. So why would you want to be in a country where, these people are just wicked, one way or another,
But can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
This is the book of Revelation 13:16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And, that's exactly what you see coming out, that whole thing, that happened 5 years ago. They were trying to test the waters with people, and now they're implementing it, right? They have that 2030 plan, they have that 2028 plan, they got that 2025 plan, but we might not even see that. We might not even see, hopefully this place only lasts a couple more months, right? Because when things escalates very quickly, very, very fast. Now, we repeat this out over and over again because, some brothers might not understand it, but, we're going to repeat this over and over because the apostles and elders say repetition is the father of skill, and some brothers might not understand it. The scriptures talk about, how should I say, whoever does the will of the Father, right, is my brother. So we're going to continue to push this prophecy out, even if it's, things like this. It shows us that, the scriptures are always right. You got to have patience that we're going to make it out of this fucking hell. Right? So, I'm going to wrap this up here. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to say, Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and others at Great Millstone who teach and rule well. I want to say Shalom.